Back in 2006, Ronaldinho was untouchable. Two-time FIFA World Player of the Year, a Champions League winner, the undisputed face of global football. He was on top of the world, and everyone expected him to finish the year by reclaiming his title as the best player alive. But just 18 days after lifting the Champions League trophy, back in Brazil, fans were tearing down his statues. He hadn't just disappointed at the World Cup, he had disappeared. He failed to score a single goal, and his team was eliminated by a 34-year-old Zinedine Zidane, who was only days away from retiring. That loss hit Ronaldinho hard. Teammates later revealed he was regularly showing up to training either drunk or hungover. Within a year, he was no longer playing for Brazil. Guardiola let him go from Barcelona, claiming his influence was harmful to a young Lionel Messi. By the time he arrived at AC Milan, the world had moved on. He was mocked as overweight and past his prime. But despite the criticism, Ronaldinho was still producing magic. He finished as Milan's top scorer and top assist provider, with a goal or assist every 98 minutes. Back in Brazil, nearly 90% of fans wanted him at the 2010 World Cup. Romario, Mortissi, Ramalho, Vanderlei Luxemburgo, the biggest names in the sport, all backed his return. But when the official squad was announced, his name wasn't there. Many believed this was the final chapter, but it wasn't. 6 months later, Ronaldinho vowed to make it to the 2014 World Cup. With his reputation in Europe damaged, he returned to Brazil. Most expected him to rejoin Gremio, his boyhood club. He even said publicly that it was his personal wish. The club had already prepared his presentation, but when Flamengo made a lucrative offer, his brother, also his agent, changed course. The backlash was intense. Pelé called the whole transfer saga a sickening process. The president of Gremio labeled Ronaldinho's brother a psychopath. Fans never forgave them. Despite the chaos, the Flamengo deal was done. The contract included a nightclub clause, allowing him to party 2 nights a week. When Ronaldinho arrived at the training ground, 20,000 fans rushed in, knocking down the gates to catch a glimpse. He looked overwhelmed, even scared. Flamengo had finished 2 points above relegation the previous season. Now, they handed him the captain's armband, made him their primary free kick and corner taker, and begged him to save the club. And incredibly, he delivered. 9 matches into his Flamengo career, he scored the winning goal in the final of the Guanabara Cup. They also won the Rio Cup, which meant they had no opponent for the Carioca Championship final. They were simply awarded the trophy. But the partying didn't stop. Ronaldinho was frequently spotted at nightclubs, and fans started a hotline called Disc Dentuço, where people could call in and report his whereabouts. Volunteers would track him down and try to convince him to go home. Despite the madness, he was playing brilliantly. 13 games, 12 goals, 5 assists. Then came one of the most iconic performances of his career, the so-called Game of the Century. Flamengo versus Santos, Neymar versus Ronaldinho. A battle of generations. Santos went ahead early. Neymar scored a Puskas award-winning goal. But Ronaldinho responded with a hat-trick, including a cheeky free kick under the wall, leading Flamengo to a 5-4 victory. Flamengo rose to the top of the league. Ronaldinho was recalled to the national team, but things unraveled quickly. The club stopped paying him after falling out with the marketing agency funding his wages. His performances dipped. Flamengo won just 4 of their next 16 matches. Still, he finished the year as the club's top scorer. The board promised to pay him out of pocket, and he stayed for another season. He hit form again, rescued the Libertadores playoff with a goal and an assist, and led the tournament in assists. But it all came crashing down. His brother entered the club store, grabbed 40 shirts, and tried to leave without paying, saying the club owed Ronaldinho far more. It was a public relations disaster, and Flamengo terminated the contract. Just like that, Ronaldinho's road to redemption was back at square one. But Atlético Mineiro were ready. The moment Ronaldinho became a free agent, their manager told the president, "Our number 10 is waiting for us." 6 days later, he signed. This time, it wasn't about money. He accepted 1/4 of what he earned at Flamengo. When rumors broke, news helicopters flew over the training ground to get a glimpse of him. Critics laughed at the move, but Atletico's president said it best, "I may be mad, but I'm not mad enough to turn down Ronaldinho." On paper, the squad was unremarkable. Joe, Bernard, Guilherme, players seen as flops or past their best. Even the manager, Cuca, was heavily criticized, especially for joining from rivals Cruzeiro. But behind the scenes, the group was hungry. They gave Ronaldinho complete freedom. One teammate recalled that if he was late to training, no one minded. If he wasn't fit, he'd stay upstairs until the press left. The only rule, if he showed up drunk, he was out. Ronaldinho didn't waste time. 3 months into the season, Atlético Mineiro were on a 14-match unbeaten run. He scored a stunning solo goal to beat Cruzeiro. The team rose to the top of the league. Then tragedy struck. Ronaldinho's stepfather passed away suddenly, just like his real father had years earlier. He played the very next day, scored within 12 minutes, and finished with 3 goals and 2 assists. He celebrated in tears. Atlético Mineiro won their biggest match in years. They didn't win the league title, falling short by 5 points, but Ronaldinho was named Brazil's best player, and the club had qualified for the Copa Libertadores. Atletico rested him during the regional championship. When the Libertadores started, he was unleashed. He assisted twice in the opener against Sao Paulo. Against Arsenal de Sarandi, he assisted 2 and helped complete Bernard's hat-trick. Against the strongest, he scored the winner. Even at Bolivia's extreme altitude, where foreign teams rarely survive, Ronaldinho led the attack and forced an own goal in a 2-1 win. Atletico finished top of their group, but tension followed. Ronaldinho mocked Sao Paulo after a loss, calling it a training match. In the knockout stage, Sao Paulo struck first, but Ronaldinho equalized and assisted in a 6-2 aggregate demolition. He also found time to beat Cruzeiro in the Mineiro Championship final, assisting 2 in the first leg and scoring the decisive goal in the second. In the Libertadores quarterfinal, Atletico came from behind thanks to his assists. Their goalkeeper Victor saved the last-minute penalty, earning the nickname Saint Victor. Fans chanted, "I believe." But right before the semi-final, Ronaldinho relapsed. He showed up to camp drunk, with music blasting. The president kicked him out. His teammates rushed to the airport, stopped his departure, and convinced the club to let him stay. They promised to take responsibility for whatever came next. In the second leg against Newell's Old Boys, Ronaldinho assisted Bernard within 2 minutes. When the match reached the deadlock, the stadium lights failed. After a brief blackout, Atletico scored again and won on penalties. In the final, down 2-0 to Olimpia after the first leg, the team rallied. Ronaldinho wasn't at his best, but the squad carried him. They forced penalties and won the club's first ever Copa Libertadores title. When reporters found Ronaldinho, he simply said, "Not long ago, everyone said I was finished. Let them talk now." Shortly after, he tore a thigh muscle and never fully recovered. His 2014 World Cup dream was over, but he ended the year as South American Player of the Year at age 34. Ronaldinho had fallen hard, but he rose again on his own terms. Watch till the end. You're a real one. Go ahead and smash that like button. Hit subscribe for more football content. And if you enjoyed the vibes, make sure to share the video with your crew.